is Terrie Carr, and welcome to the Box of Rock special edition with a band that everyone wants to know about, Greta Van Fleet. I had the opportunity to sit down with Josh, Jake, Sam, and Danny for an impromptu chat with some fans in attendance. And man, did we have a blast, talking music, inspiration, and just getting to know the guys. The Box of Rock welcomes Frankenmuth, Michigan's Saviors of Rock, Greta Van Fleet. And thanks to the Greta Army, too, for making it extra special. So we're hanging out with Greta Van Fleet. And by the way, a fabulous audience that's joining us here at the Starland Ballroom. Guys, thank you so much for doing this pre-show.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yes.
This is incredible. All right, so where do we start? If you guys want to clap, feel free, get loud, man. We have an amazing group of fans that are joining the Kiskas and Danny here with us today. Now, where do I start? I think I'm going to start with Josh, and I'm going to ask you guys, when everybody was sort of starting to play together, you kind of said, you know, we didn't really know we were going to be a rock band. We just knew we wanted to play together, and that's kind of what came out.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's totally true. Yeah, we all wanted to play and hear music that we liked. It wasn't particularly that it was supposed to be rock and roll music, you know. But I think with a lot of that energy you take to writing music, and if you have this great passion for it, it can sound really big. You know, sometimes I think that's why it kind of has that rock and roll connotation. You know.
Yeah, and a big sound for sure. So. The brothers are here. Got the three Kiska brothers here. What was it like growing up in your household when you were kids? Was there music around?
I don't know. I'm trying to think about it.
Yeah, what was it like?
It was great for us.
Yeah. No, it was fantastic fun. It was chaotic.
A lot of albums around. Parents had a lot of albums.
Of them. Yeah.
Your parents were teachers?
Our mother was a science teacher. Our father was a chemist.
Oh, wow. A science teacher and a chemist.
But they were really free-spirited. And
wow, that's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, so
science experiments, aren't we?
I think we're probably science experiments.
Product of a madman.
We think, yeah, but you know, it's like kind of growing up. We call it the vinyl playground, and you know, we go to Grandma and Grandpa's house, and they'd have plenty of vinyl there. Of course, much older stuff, which is really cool. You know,
great stuff. Dean Martin, Sinatra.
Sure.
Yeah, all the good stuff.
The stars. Those artists were the stars of their generation.
Those guys are rock stars. Yeah.
Absolutely, there's no question about it. You looked at that generation of what was considered a rock star, you know, and then you move into another generation and another generation. So, all right, I'm going to give you the pressure question. Are you ready, Danny?
No.
All right.
I'm excited.
So when you hear people say the band that's going to save rock, no pressure, of course, how do you feel about that?
Well, I don't have to do it alone, so I feel, you know, a lot better in that sense. But I don't know. I don't really know if we hold all that much on our shoulders, you know, because of it. I think we just have an understanding of what we're here to do, and we don't plan on changing that anytime soon. So.
Were you surprised when you first heard that, though? Any of you? Were you surprised when you would read a review like, these are the guys that are going to save rock? That's something that is scary.
I still don't really believe it, but we'll see. Down the road, you know.
Well, it's kind of scary, too, because you're like, wait, don't say that. You're putting an undue pressure on us.
Now,
we're a working rock
honestly,
band.
I don't think that they're really, we don't, it's not that we don't sense pressure, but we don't seem to falter in the face of pressure. I think because it's just natural. This is something that's really second nature, and there's not anything to it. You know, we just go and do our thing, and that's what it is, you know.
So what has the last year and a half been like for you guys? Because
I don't really know. I can't remember any of it.
I would imagine you can't.
It kind of sounded like this.
Amount of time ever in my life. Yeah, absolutely.
You guys were playing like, you know, dances, school dances and stuff. Still always together as a band, but playing, you know, everybody knew you guys. The Michigan
boys.
boys.
The funny thing about playing like a prom that we did, I think about a prom, it was a Christmas dance maybe, and one of the teachers came up to me and said, "You're going to have to put a few more buttons together on the shirt."
Is that true?
There's too much skin, yeah.
You were showing too much skin.
It's like, well, I'm making a living being half naked screaming on stage, so I don't know. I thought that was
great.
quite funny. But of course, I was rebellious. Said, "No, I'm not going to button it up. Are you crazy?"
That's hysterical. That's awesome. So yeah, but the last year and a half, 2 years for you guys has literally been a whirlwind. #1 records on rock radio, touring, doing every giant festival. Yeah, thanks to Drew. Headlining tour now. I mean, that has to be overwhelming. And you sort of look back. Did you guys have a chance to enjoy it at all?
Yes. Yeah, there was lots of time to enjoy it. Like I said, the longest, quickest period of time in all of our lives. But I don't know. We've all been travelers, right?
Yeah.
So
I
traveling
that's
is something that comes very naturally to us.
Rovers.
We've been able to adapt fairly well to the whole thing. Yeah.
And of course, I'm going to ask you for one or two influences, maybe a song that changed your life when you were a kid and you had that epiphany. So we'll start with you, Danny. What was one of the songs that changed your life?
One of the songs that changed my life, probably Won't Get Fooled Again by The Who, or All Along the Watchtower, Jimi Hendrix. Those are all songs that kind of have been implanted in my brain since a very young age. I don't know how long I've known them for, ones that you've just carried with you forever. Yeah.
All right, let's move down.
I would say that Jimi Hendrix' Star Spangled Banner was one. They played it in our fourth grade like social studies class, and it was like Memorial's Day. Yeah, it was a cool teacher, Mrs. Todd. Thanks, Mrs. Todd, for that, by the way.
Wow.
Proper
She
thank
changed
you.
your life. That's
Yeah.
insane. It's
It was amazing, and it was like, she played it. I had goosebumps, and I remember just looking around, and I don't think anyone else got it quite that same way, but then the Blue Angels flew over, and it was like, wow.
your moment.
Yeah, that was it.
Your moment. Josh, everybody wants to know about your moment because there's been those comparisons, obviously, to people heard Plant. For me, I heard even like a Paul Rogers, Steve Marriott.
Dennis Rousseau is a great singer, and John Denver is one of my favorites.
Wow, that's awesome.
I think the music is you, John Denver. That completely rewired my brain.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was one of your moments.
Yeah.
All right.
Very much so.
I think for me, I think the biggest game changer for me, I must have been 9 or 10 years old, and I heard the Beatles' A Day in the Life. And that taught me that music doesn't have to be normal. Music doesn't have to have a template. It doesn't have to be anything. It is.
Yeah, abandon all rules.
Abandon all rules.
So we look out into the crowd of people that we see here, and I see everybody. I see young people. I see older people. I see, what? Did I say that? Well, here's what I wanted to say. Joe is one of our listeners. Yeah, he is. He's part of the fleet. Joe is one of our diehard listeners. Joe's the guy who calls me every day during my show, multiple times a day, I'm not kidding, for Greta Van Fleet songs. He knows everything. I got out of the van today. He's like, TC, flower power. Like, he's just crazy about you guys. So you guys have had a lot of credit for being guys that are introducing a younger generation to rock. I love that. I think it's brilliant. We need that. But he said something to me, and it really blew my doors off. He said, I love this band because they make me feel like I'm a teenager again.
So it really is all young people then.
Well, it's true.
He's at 25. Look at him.
It's true. Music is like time travel. It brings you back to that place in your life where you remember, this reminds me of
where
summer.
It gets to the point where it liberates you to the extent that there's just this unencumbered childlike spirit that you have. It's just kind of like...
Which is what I was going to ask you. So how does that make you guys feel that you're doing that for people now?
That's the whole point.
It is kind of the whole point. It's what keeps us going.
Yeah. It's a lot like there are chapters, and there are a lot of chapters of people's lives, and everybody's in a different chapter in their life. And then it's like, the music that hopefully it can create, especially a genre like rock and roll, can be much like a bookmarker. And, it takes you back to a certain chapter, and it takes you back to youth, or it becomes a part of your current life. And like, our generation, our voice, our evolution, our way of looking at rock and roll. And everybody, that's part of unity because it can bring a lot of people together. And it's amazing to see parents and children and and grandparents. Yeah, it's amazing. It's like that's love. It's an amazing thing to see it.
So have you guys on tour been inspired to start writing? And I would imagine that
all the time.
It's been busy
All
for
the
you,
time.
and yet everything probably inspires you now.
Yeah. There's something about a personal growth you gain when you're traveling and being different places, seeing different people and different customs and traditions and things like that. And it kind of this intrinsic growth, and it shows in the music. And there's a certain maturity or a development that you hear when the newer stuff is written. So, yeah, it's been transformative,
Guys, thank you guys so much. This
Thank
has been
you.
a pleasure. Greta Van Fleet, let's hear it, everybody.